Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Keto Granny. Just stopping in tonight for a quick live. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Let's talk tonight about the ketogenic diet. Let's talk about the erythritol scare, especially if you're up. Come on in, come on in. And let's go ahead and get this show started, okay? How was your day today? I hope that you had a great day. I did. Very, very good day, and it was so beautiful here in Seattle. Beautiful in the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington. This is such a beautiful, beautiful city. Yes, it is. I hope you're enjoying that music in the background. Tonight is a beautiful, beautiful night. We've had some great weather today. We haven't had a day like this in Seattle in such a long, long time. But I hope that you're having a good night. Hope that you're having a great night tonight. So I am working on building up my watch hours. I'm almost monetized. So that's something that I do want to do, and especially by the end of this month. So I am working on earning my watch hours. So how are you doing tonight? One thing I like to always do is make sure that I'm drinking enough water. Drinking water is so important. I like to add in apple cider vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice, and a little bit of Himalayan pink salt to my water when I'm drinking. It helps with replenishing electrolytes. So that's what I use that for, and it comes in oh so handy. So I found some information that I was just looking at myself as far as talking about the erythritol. I know when I heard about the erythritol, it kind of gave me a scare. But then I also know that I don't use a lot of the keto sweeteners except for when I was doing baking for the holidays, and I did slow down on that. Erythritol. There have been so many people talking about it right now on the internet. Everybody is voicing their opinions, and also a lot of them are voicing more of an opinion on the keto diet also. I had heard some of them talking about that. Okay. It mainly seemed to affect people who had existing risk factors for heart disease, such as diabetes. It says that they were twice as likely to experience a heart attack or stroke if they had the highest levels of erythritol in their blood. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional of any type. I am a keto coach, and I do help people lose weight and get healthier. So I do have concerns as far as the keto sweeteners, because I know some of my clients do use keto sweeteners. Just a moment. Keto sweeteners. Now, I believe that the main keto sweeteners that they are talking about are the ones that contain erythritol. I did find it very surprising that they said that erythritol is not something that is required to be listed on the label. That really threw me for a flip, because I feel like it should, if it's included in the sweetener, then it should be included on the label so that people know exactly what they are getting. I would like to know exactly what I'm getting. I have so many sweeteners, and I'm going to have to probably get rid of them, because I won't be using those sweeteners, because I am one of the people who are one of the higher risk factors as far as using those keto sweeteners. The study that I am looking at, I'm sure it's the same one, said the degree of risk was not modest. The lead study author, Dr. Stanley Hazen, director for the Center for Cardiovascular Diagnostics and Prevention at the Cleveland Clinic, Lerner Research Institute, says that if your blood level of erythritol was in the top 25% compared to the 25% in the bottom, that you had a twofold higher risk for heart attack and stroke. And it says that this erythritol level was on par with the strongness of cardiac risk factors like diabetes. They found through additional lab and animal research that erythritol appeared to be causing blood platelets to clot more readily and more easily, and clots can break off and travel to the heart, triggering a heart attack, or to the brain and then trigger a stroke. This is very, very important information for people who are using the keto sweeteners. And the keto sweeteners are in a lot of things that are packaged. Those keto candy bars, a lot of those have erythritol. A lot of the keto treats, a lot of the keto cereals, a lot of the things that they produce and they push as far as keto products. A lot of these products have erythritol in them. I myself can't say exactly when we started using a lot of it, but I know that I have been using the monk fruit and I have been using the swerve. And I did look on both of those, and both of those I know do contain erythritol. I also use allulose. Now, looking at the allulose, it simply says allulose. It doesn't say that it has any erythritol in it. But then I have to wonder about that, because they say that erythritol does not have to be listed as part of the ingredient on the label. I'm not for sure why, if it's at a minimal amount or how that works, but I'm not really sure why they don't have to list erythritol as one of the ingredients that are found in some of the keto sweeteners and some of the keto treats and products that they are pushing. I feel that it really should be lifted, especially since it is deemed to cause so much harm to people who are using it, especially people who are considered high risk factors. Mainly people with diabetes and different things like that. So the erythritol is said to cause what would be considered sticky blood. And that is what causes the blood clots and everything to start, it seems. It's very alarming. Me, myself, I will be really using probably close to none as far as erythritol. If I use anything so far, I would think it would be stevia, and I would be looking for stevia that has no erythritol in it, or it would be the allulose. Because like I said, reading the allulose, I did find out that the allulose, it doesn't list anything as far as erythritol in that sweetener. Said that the clotting risk is enough that a person should want to limit their use of erythritol. I don't know how you're thinking about it, but I know for myself, I am going to limit the use, or basically probably stop using erythritol basically altogether until they find out a little bit more about the reaction within our body. There were good things I thought about erythritol before all of this, because it could replace sugar. Even though on keto you're supposed to be learning to do away with those cravings, so you really shouldn't be craving sugar. But I thought it was good for when you did want to have a sweet treat that you could. So it was good for that, I thought. But like I say, with all of the information that they are giving now on the use of erythritol, it makes it all so scary, and a person should really think about their use of erythritol or how they will be using it in their diet. Says the results of this study are contrary to decades of scientific research showing reduced calorie sweeteners like erythritol are safe, as evidenced by global regulatory permissions for their use in foods and beverages. But I do believe that too much of anything is not good for you. And I know that sometimes, and I'm guilty of it myself, I would buy those Atkins treats, different things like that. And I may sit up and eat 4 or 5 of those before I stop with my sweet treat when I would have one sometime. So I know that people do sit up and they do eat a lot of those different keto treats and different things like that, and they overeat it. And I know that would mean that they would have a lot of erythritol in their blood levels. Even for myself, I know that I have been guilty of that. And then there are others that I follow on YouTube, and they will talk about how they just bought the whole box of Atkins Almond Joys or Atkins Peanut Butter Cups, and they ate the whole box. That really is not good. Now, like I said, I have done it before where I've eaten 3 bars or some different things like that when I start eating those little candies. But remember, that is not good. Like sorbitol and xylitol, erythritol is a sugar alcohol, a carb found naturally in many fruits and vegetables. And it says it has about 70% of the sweetness of sugar. It's considered 0 calorie. So that's why it's so appealing and why so many people use it. It's sweet. It's considered 0 calorie. Um, People have started using it too excessively, I think. You wake up, they're putting it in their coffee. You're probably eating a keto treat or a keto bar for breakfast. Um, then you're adding it in whatever you're cooking with or baking with for today. You're adding in a little bit of sweetener to that. So even though we're supposed to not be craving sweets, we still do that. We're human. We still do that. So that is something that we really have to work on and to control. If you're doing keto, you should not be craving or wanting sweets anyway. That's one of the first things that you learn to control. And when you start going into ketosis, that's one of the first cravings that is to go, is that craving for sweetness and that craving for sugar. Like I said, erythritol, it looks like sugar. It's white. Also, you can get the brown sugar. It looks like sugar. You can bake with it. It has become like very popular, especially in the keto world. It's made, a lot of the low carb keto products are made with it. And a lot of the foods that have erythritol in it have been marketed to people who are wanting to lose weight. It has been marketed to people who are diabetic. And it's, like I said, it's very, very popular. Stevia and monk fruit are about 200 to 400 times sweeter than sugar. Just a small amount is needed in any product to produce the sweetness sometimes that you will have in sugar. The bulk of the product that you are using is erythritol, which adds the sugar-like appearance and the texture, which we have come to like and which we have come to use to replace our sugar in our diets. They say that they discovered the connection between erythritol and cardiovascular issues purely accidentally. They said they weren't looking for it, they didn't expect it. They found unknown chemicals in a person's blood, and they found that this chemical that they found might predict their risk for a heart attack, a stroke, or death in the next 3 years. So to do so, the team began analyzing, it says 1,157 blood samples in people at risk for heart disease collected between 2004 and 2011. We found this substance that seemed to play a big role, but we didn't know what it was. Then they said they discovered that the substance that they found was erythritol, a sweetener that people were using a lot of. That's something that's very, very popular right now. And it's in a lot of the products that a lot of people are telling people to use, especially some of the influencers are pushing a lot of products that have erythritol in them. Make sure that you are reading your labels and make sure that you start making some really good decisions about whether you're going to be using erythritol or not in your diet. The human body, they say, naturally creates erythritol, but in a very, very low amount. So when our body is producing erythritol in the amounts that it needs to produce, that is okay. And it doesn't account for the levels that are being measured when they're saying that we have too much erythritol levels in our blood. It says, just to confirm their findings, that Hazen's team, they tested another batch of blood samples from over 2,100 people in the United States, and additional 833 samples gathered by colleagues in Europe through 2018. It said that about 3/4 of the participants in all three populations had coronary disease or high blood pressure, and about a fifth of them had diabetes. Over half were male in their 60s and 70s who were in this group. In all three populations, the researchers found that higher levels of erythritol were connected to a greater risk of heart attack, stroke, or death within 3 years. But why? They didn't understand why. So that's when they decided to do further testing on animals and further lab tests, and discovered that erythritol was provoking enhanced thrombosis, or clotting of the blood. As we all know, it says that clotting is necessary in the human body, or we would bleed from cuts, would bleed to death from cuts and from injuries and different things. So this is a natural process that occurs within us internally. Our blood vessels are always under pressure, and sometimes they spring leaks, and blood platelets are constantly coming along and plugging up these holes when we spring leaks. So these platelets form clots, and the size of that clot depends on how much the cells are stimulated. For example, if the trigger is only 10%, then you only get 10% of a clot. So that's how clotting works, I guess. So I am reading for, like I say, I'm reading from my notes that I got from a study, and I got it from CNN, and they give you just a lot of information as to why the erythritol is affecting people, and why it is clotting. So for people who are at risk for clotting, such as people who are at risk for heart attack and for stroke, people who have existing cardiac disease, or people with diabetes, they do say that there's sufficient data to say that it's best that you stay away, or that we stay away from erythritol until more studies are done. Thirsty. So I hope that a lot of you really think about it, because sometimes it's hard for people to give up habits, even though they are bad habits. You can tell a person sometimes that something is going to do harm to them, and they still have a hard time breaking that habit. I hope that if you're one of the people who are using the keto sweeteners, and you're using them very regularly, and you especially have those high risk factors, please make sure that you think about this and do what's best for you and your health. I would say for myself, I won't be using really the keto sweeteners that much unless it's the allulose, and then I want to make sure that that is safe to use before I actually start using that also. So like I said, they did find an association between erythritol and clotting, and they're doing more research on this. So it says in the final part of the study, 8 healthy volunteers drank a beverage that contained 30 grams of erythritol, the amount that they believe that many people in the United States consume if they are using erythritol. Blood tests over the next 3 days tracked their erythritol levels and their clotting risk. 30 grams was enough to make blood levels of erythritol go up 1,000-fold. Could you imagine that? your blood level going up 1,000-fold because you drank something that only had 30 grams of erythritol. There are a lot of the keto products and different things I'm sure that they are pushing on a lot of the YouTube channels, and a lot of the keto products that they are pushing in the stores, prepackaged products that probably have 30 grams of erythritol in them, that has a lot of erythritol. Just how much is 30 grams of erythritol? Says the equivalent of eating a pint of keto ice cream. And I remember I used to do that. I would get a pint of keto ice cream and eat it. Wow, that is scary to know. So, like I said, too much of anything can be bad for you. Too much of anything cannot be good for you. If you read the labels on the back of a lot of the keto ice creams, you'll see that it says things that it has in it a lot of time are erythritol, sugar alcohols, reducing sugars, which are all terms that are used for erythritol. So whenever you see something that says there's a sugar alcohol or reducing sugar or anything, make sure that you read the label. Um, you'll find, like in ice cream, it says that you find a typical pint has somewhere between 26 and 45 grams of erythritol. And I'm talking about the little bitty keto pints of ice cream. And I was just looking at one of those yesterday when I was in the store, and I decided against getting it, and I'm glad that I did. Um, what I like to do is you can make your keto ice cream so simple to make with your heavy whipping cream and put in your other ingredients in there, and it's called mason jar ice cream. And you can make that, and you can make it naturally. So that is something, that you, if you want a nice good treat, make your treats, and avoid using the different sugar alcohols, and make treats that you don't have to add, sugar alcohols to. You can enjoy those type of treats also. There is no firm accepted daily intake as far as erythritol, which they will consider to be safe or to be harmful. So says science just needs to take a deeper look into erythritol, and they have to do it in a hurry because this substance is widely available right now. If it's harmful, it says that we need to know about it because, like it says, a lot of people are using it. It's on the market. It's readily available to everyone. It's in a lot of the products that people are, pushing on the YouTube channels, telling everybody to get these different products and eat them, and how you can have this different keto treat, this and that different keto treat. And we really should not be doing that. Looks like I have a comment. Let me go and see if I can read that. Forensic Mystics. Hello, Forensic Mystics. I'm so glad that you are here. Welcome in to Forensic Mystics. I'm just simply talking about just the keto lifestyle, and then the erythritol scare that we have right now. And it's not a scare because it's really something that's really very, very, I would say, important and critical, because a lot of people are using this keto sweetener. Some people are using it every day. So they should really, really, I hope that people see, the information that they're putting out there about the erythritol and some of the keto sweeteners, because a lot of the main ones that we use have erythritol in them. I could go in my cabinet right now and bring out bags of Swerve, bags of monk fruit that I have in my cabinet that I call myself stocking up on when I saw them on sale, because I wanted to make sure I had my sweeteners if I wanted to do any baking and different things like that. But now that I have them, I won't be using them. I do have allulose, and like I said, I read the allulose, and all it says that it has in there is allulose. But then that's something that has to be, I would say, researched also, because they say that they don't have to put on the label if erythritol is in sweetener. What's the best? Hello, thank you. What's the best sweetener to use? Safest? I actually really think that the allulose is the best one to use. I mean, that's the only one that I will be using until, there's more information out there. And I am hoping that one of the doctors or someone is doing research, that they can tell us, they're telling us all the bad things about the sweeteners. And, sometimes, like, I listen to the doctors talk about how they take these things with a grain of salt because, one agency may have been paid to say one thing and one paid to say something else, involved with health and different things like that. So you do tend to take a lot of this research information sometimes, with a grain of salt. Um, but I feel that they have enough information on this keto sweetener, on the erythritol, that people should really pay attention to it and really make some um, good decisions as far as they want to use this in their diet or not. Like I said, I myself, I will be using the allulose. I haven't heard a lot about that. And then I see where they have some that are doing studies on the stevia. But I don't. I thought that I have seen stevia that does not have erythritol in it, because I see some stevia that does list erythritol on the label, and some stevia does not. So I wonder if that means that stevia does not have erythritol in it. But anyhow, I just wanted to come on here because, like I said, I am practicing with my lives. I want to do more lives, become more engaged with my community, and also I am building up my watch hours. I want to become monetized. So also, if you know anyone who would benefit from this type of information, or anyone who's interested in the ketogenic diet as far as losing weight, different things like that. I started on the ketogenic diet and I weighed well over 350 pounds. I lost 147 pounds. I gained about 40, 45 pounds back. And then I lost an additional 20 pounds. So I have about 18 pounds to be exact to get back to where I was when I was my smallest. So I am so happy for that. But I have managed to keep off over 100 pounds within the past 3 to 4 years. So I like to talk about the ketogenic diet because it has helped me a lot. I tried a lot of other diets, a lot of other weight loss techniques and different things that they had out there, and they just did not work for me. Keto, intermittent fasting, exercise, and walking is what helped me the most. Allulose, you've never heard of allulose? Allulose, now I order my allulose from Amazon, and it is made from a plant also. So, I mean, and it's more like a powdery sweetener and not so much of the granulated form. So I do use the allulose. So never heard of it, but look it up. Go to Amazon and maybe you'll be able to find out a little bit more information there. Hello, Jimmy Rizzo. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm glad that you're here. This is your first time here. I'd like to say welcome. Thank you for joining me. So I believe this is going to be my live for tonight. I'm going to try to come on every day this week live for a little while to talk, to become more engaged with my community, to also get more comfortable doing the lives. I want to say I'm glad that you joined me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and share. And if you enjoy this type of comment, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure that you comment below, and also let me know what other type of content that you would like to discuss and talk about as far as the ketogenic lifestyle. If you're trying to lose weight, what type of diets have you tried that worked for you, and what diets did you do that did not work for you? Um, so this is going to be a place where we can all just come and share and talk. Um, I mean, sometimes you can just come here, just get things off your chest that are bothering you. But I would be so glad if you would join me. This is Keto Granny saying, I'm glad that you joined me this evening. I hope that you enjoyed the live, and I will see you the next time. Everybody have a good night.